been a railroad yard since before the Civil War, and as the cars behind me show, it is still currently used very much as an interchange yard between the Main Eastern and Pan Am. And you can see what a perfect site it is for this purpose. The layover facility will be to the left of them. Still, no houses. A thick band of trees on the south side where most of the opposition has been centered. I'm glad that the layover facility will be built here instead of anywhere else. Indeed, it cannot function anywhere else. This is the center of railroad activity for Brunswick, always has been, always will be. That will never change.
The steel frame of the building, designed to house 3 Downeaster train sets for light maintenance, is now being erected. This follows years of endless regulatory hearings dealing with objections to the facility by the Brunswick West Neighborhood Coalition. NNEPRA satisfied the Federal Railroad Administration, the Maine Department of Environmental Protection, and finally the Board of Environmental Protection that no unresolved issues remained to block construction of this much-needed facility in this active freight yard.
It is an active site, and we have a lot of potential trip hazards out there, a lot of equipment moving around, guys carrying anything that possibly could hurt you would if you weren't paying attention.
This is the latest technology, obviously. It may, at this point, be the only one of its kind. This should allow expansion not just to Brunswick, but other services in other parts of the state and outside the state. But this facility can do it all. The future has been built into this building. So again, thanks to the Rail Authority and its director for thinking ahead.
My name's Jim Russell. I'm the Special Projects Manager for NNEPRA. Well, the train, once it's arrived at Brunswick Station and Amtrak conductors and engineers have discharged the passengers, it returns here to the layover facility. It enters the building through the main door. Then comes to rest at the far end to be tied in with the 480 volt head end power as well as compressed air, both provided by the facility to allow the locomotive to shut down. The building can handle 3 full 6-car train sets. It's as soundproof as engineering could make it. It's fully been tested both on the design side as well as we're having testing here operationally, and it's proven out to be just what was expected.
When you look behind you, how do you feel?
Appreciative that the train is in here, come to rest, and the facility is performing just as intended.
Any kind of improvement would be a plus. And this facility, well, you just look around, this is first class.
Hello, thank you for coming.
We were questioning why it was decided, and then you have those pictures up there with the ice all over it, and we said, oh yeah.
Now we know.
I think it's a good thing, get these things in out of the weather for these guys to work on, and keep the noise down. It's really functional.
Just fantastic. We think it's a long time coming, and we're happy that we're extending rail service further up the coast of Maine.
It was a struggle, wasn't it?
It was, and we all sadly watched it in the paper, but, you know, in the end, there was a rail yard here. There's just a better one now.
I wonder what the fuss was all about. Now it's here. It looks good.
I recommend that you authorize OPEGA to finish its assignment by determining how so many poor decisions could possibly have been made under management that was intended to exercise, quote, reasonable judgment.
They approached requested change with negativity. The demand for greater stewardship by NNEPRA is now. So the onion might have to be peeled back a ways to see what is actually going on out there.
In the most recent decade, NNEPRA has the appearance of developing a culture of cronyism, lack of transparency, and flawed stewardship of tax dollars while implementing passenger rail service in Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts.
I really take umbrage at the statement that there's an appearance of cronyism. I heard a bunch of trite expressions, where's the beef, you need to peel the onion. Well, it's time to peel the onion on, quote, cronyism, close quote.
I have attended many of the NNEPRA board meetings, and yes, things are rubber stamped. It's just done. Know that, because it is rubber stamped. The executive director, again, top in what she does, but when she puts forth something, the members of the board of directors all say aye.
I am offended by the statement of rubber stamping. Anyone who has ever served on a board with me knows that I do not rubber stamp. I am very critical about financial affairs. I do not rubber stamp. I ask very critical questions, and I expect to get answers. And I get good answers from the staff, who are second to none. And what really pains me is to see how they are being taken down in the mud because of people with their own personal interests, whether they live close to the track or otherwise.
I work a lot with Amtrak. I work with them on a variety of different levels. I work with them at the superintendent level, which is the people that run the Downeaster service. At the regional level, we were dispatched out of the Northeast Division, and I work with them out of the corporate level in Washington, D.C. And Amtrak, has a bad rap for being rigid. And I was listening to some of Mr. Snyder's experiences that he had working with VRE, and they can be tough. But I also want you to know that we have really developed a great working relationship with Amtrak and have pushed the envelope with them so that they are creative, they are responsive, they do try new things, and we work on that very hard. For instance, we were the very first service in the country to have Wi-Fi service. We worked with Amtrak to pilot e-ticketing. We were, up until a year ago, we were the only Amtrak service to have our own food service. We were the first to implement recycling on board. We do events that nobody does, and when they introduced pets last year, we asked them to modify the policy because we wanted to offer pet access at all stations, even though they were unstaffed, and they allowed us to do that.
Here you go, guys.
Wayne Davis was
hands on the side of the tracks and high school cheerleading. Well, this is a great development for Brunswick, for Maine, and for the country. Adding another train, it'll make it more convenient, and it took a lot to get here. It took a vision, starting with Wayne Davis and TrainRiders Northeast back in the 80s. It took a partnership of involving all kinds of people, from Amtrak to Pan Am Railroad to Consigli that built the facility, to Patricia and NNEPRA, all the people that have made this happen. A partnership is crucial. The third thing it took was perseverance. A project like this is tough. There are always obstacles. There are always people that say, no, you can't. You've got to overcome them. And then the fourth P is passion. People who really care. Going back to people like Wayne Davis, who really are invested in the idea and the concept and are going to make it happen. And that's what happened here today. That's why this is such an exciting day.
It was a long time coming, but it feels good. Just very exhilarating. All those years, it was worth it. just looking at the expressions on the faces and hearing the speakers, this is another milestone for the Downeaster story.